The illustrious British bank Coutts wants to end its business relationship with right-wing politician Nigel Farage, allegedly because he no longer meets the bank's financial criteria. But Farage senses political motives behind the action. I say Coutts, by the way, because the German word counts has a special meaning. Nigel Farage complains that his long-standing bank is rejecting him as a customer and suspects a connection to the Brexit he is pushing. However, media reports raise doubts about the politician's story. So Brexit advocate Nigel Farage knows campaigning well. For years, the politician campaigned for Great Britain to leave the EU, ultimately with success. And now the former MEP sees himself as a victim of a campaign. His bank accounts were terminated without giving any reason. Behind it is said to be the London bubble, as Farage puts it. The establishment is trying to force me out of the UK by closing my bank accounts. That's what Farage wrote on Twitter on Sunday, along with a 6-minute video. He spoke of serious political persecution and warned his viewers, "If they can do it to me, they can do it to you." Well, the online storm began on Friday when former Brexit party leader Nigel Farage took to Twitter to reveal he had been unbanked by a prestigious subsidiary of a large banking group he had banked with since 1980. He didn't name the institution directly, but it didn't take long for Coutts, which is owned by Royal Bank of Scotland, to start trending on Twitter. Farage has since confirmed Coutts was the bank in question. A quest to open new accounts with 7 other institutions then failed with little explanation, leading Farage to suspect the cause of his banking trouble must be political. Possibly he speculated he had been classified as a politically exposed person, or PEP, without his knowledge, implying a politically motivated attack could be underway by the establishment in retaliation for his role in bringing about Brexit. Alternatively, he suggested the bank had taken false allegations that he had received large sums of money from the Russian government at face value. It didn't take long for the testimonies to trigger widespread condemnation online and complaints about the scourge of woke banking, suppressing establishment challenging but democratically protected political activism or even opinion. According to media reports, however, there can be no question of Farage being kicked out. As the BBC reports, Farage's private bank Coutts offered the Brexiteer to open a normal account with parent company NatWest. The background is said to be that Farage no longer met the exclusive conditions for an account with Coutts. Investments in the bank of at least £1 million or deposits of £3 million. And these requirements can also be viewed on the internet. When asked by the BBC, Farage did not deny that he did not meet the criteria. However, he stuck to his complaint to the bank. "You haven't had a problem with it for the last 10 years either," and he later reiterated this on Twitter. He also always had significantly positive cash balance, as he said. NatWest declined on the comment on the events, according to the Reuters news agency. And Farage's allegations are part of a series of customer complaints against British banks, according to Reuters. Accordingly, the financial institutions are said to have curtailed the services of customers for political reasons. The British government announced that it would investigate the allegations. And according to Reuters, Farage also believes his accounts should be closed because he is, as I earlier mentioned, a politically exposed person. So special security precautions apply to these so-called PEPs at banks because the risk of corruption or bribery payments is rated higher for them due to their political influence. Coutts denies this as the reason for Farage's sacking. So far, it's unclear whether Farage can still reach an agreement with Coutts or at least be persuaded to stay with the NatWest group. In a new video on Tuesday, Farage accused the bank of being very, very dishonest. However, 9 other banks at that time have already rejected his request to open a new account. With banks increasingly edgy about being deemed in breach of money laundering regulations, and Coutts itself having already been fined £8.75 million in 2012 for breaches, this often sees them on the side of caution to avoid being slammed with operation-ending fines. This is especially the case if questionable activity is related to yet to be clearly regulated sectors such as cryptocurrency, which Farage has in recent months been prominently endorsing. Even so, what banks deem risky or not is mostly considered proprietary, meaning there can be little recourse for those classified as risky to understand why they have been deemed as such. The growing propensity for high-profile individuals or non-profits who are politically vocal to be swept into such dragnets has sparked concerns among free speech activists and politicians that human rights may be being abused. But Farage, he is best known for his role as the leader of the United Kingdom Independence Party from 2006 to 2009 and again from 10 to 16. And he played a significant role in campaigning for the UK's exit from the EU, commonly known as Brexit. And so, if it didn't happen to him at that time, why now? Farage has a long history of involvement in right-wing and Eurosceptic politics. He was a founding member of UKIP in 1993 and became one of its most prominent figures. Farage was elected as a member of the European Parliament in 1999 and held the position continuously until 2020, representing the South East England constituency. And during his time as an MEP, he gained attention for his critical views on the EU, advocating for the UK's withdrawal from the Union. In addition to his political career, Farage has worked as a broadcaster and media personality. He hosted a radio talk show on LBC Radio, and he has made frequent appearances on television news programs, often discussing issues related to Brexit and UK politics. His outspoken and controversial style has attracted both praise and criticism. Farage's influence on British politics and the Brexit movement cannot be understated. He successfully mobilized support for leaving the EU and played a key role in the Leave campaign during the 2016 referendum. And following the referendum's result in favor of Brexit, Farage stepped down as UKIP leader but remained involved in political activities. Nigel Farage played a significant role in the campaign. We must not forget this. And he was not part of the Leave.eu or something, but he was one of the most prominent figures advocating for Brexit and was instrumental in mobilizing support for leaving the EU. And Farage's involvement in Eurosceptic politics dates back to the early 1990s when he joined the newly formed UKIP, so the United Kingdom Independence Party. And he even became UKIP's leader in 2006 and played a crucial role in shaping the party's policies and messaging. And Farage consistently argued that the UK would be better off outside the EU, citing concerns about the loss of sovereignty, uncontrolled immigration, and what he perceived as excessive bureaucracy and regulation from Brussels. What a lot of bull. But during the campaign leading up to the 2016 EU membership referendum, Farage campaigned vigorously for leaving the EU, and his primary argument centered on reclaiming control over British laws, borders, and trade policy. Farage's passionate and confrontational speaking style, along with his ability to connect with voters who felt left behind by the political establishment, helped galvanize support for Brexit, even with all those lies. And Farage did step down after the referendum, but he tried a few different paths, and he still gets money from the EU because of his time as an MEP. So you will understand that I do not believe anything this man says, even if he would be, you know the story with Cry Wolf. You know what I mean. Well, but nevertheless, this is a story that started a few days ago, and I didn't pick it up because I wanted to see how it progresses a bit. And I just mentioned it in a short version in one of the videos. But this is one thing, again, that a lot of right-wingers do nowadays. Always play the victim card and say that the others are attacking me. If it's true that he just broke the rules of the bank and they offered him to get a normal bank account, This is just a campaign, yes, but a campaign by Farage. And I know this very well from the German AfD here. So if it smells like fish, it usually is fish. But nevertheless, I want to remind you that this time I didn't forget to already put the live stream announcement for Sunday on my channel. So you already can see the upcoming live stream there on my channel page. And I once again want to remind everyone of the new Outside Views STFC channel. It's doing very well for a brand new channel with a brand new topic. So come over, have a look. Maybe you'll find it interesting. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.